Now the rules that we need to do this would be, first, if you have x to any power and y to another power, and then you have another power outside, this gets multiplied to each one of them. Just like that. And you should also know that if there's nothing in here, that's really what power? X by itself is x to what power? First power, right? The same thing. Y by itself is y to the first power. So if you take this denominator and apply this rule, what you get is x squared y cubed is 3 gets multiplied by 2, 3 gets multiplied by 1, and you get x to the 6th, y to the 3rd. So this denominator can be written like that. And also, 6 divided by 2 is 3, right? Let's write that. This divides, and you get 3. And we have 3xy to the 5th power divided by x to the 6th power y to the 3rd power. Then the next rule that you want to use is that if you divide, if you have x to the 8th power divided by x to the bth power, then what happens? This is x to what power? A minus b. So you have 1 minus 6, which is negative 5, 5 minus 3, which is 2. So using this rule, the answer would be equal to 3 times x to the negative 5, y to the 2nd power. All right. Let's think about the second example. Square root of x is equal to x to what power? Yeah? No.
It's just 1.
X to the negative 1 power is 1 over x. X to the first power will be just x. X to the what power is square root of x?
Squared. No, the second.
1
X squared is x squared.
No,
What did you say?
1 half.
1/2, yes. Yeah, x to the 1/2 power is equal to square root of x. Now, why is that? That's because
Square root's half the number.
because you have this, and this is also true. What is 2 times 1/2?
1.
So what's a square root? Square root is the positive number that squares to that number. Right? Same thing happens for x to the 1/2 power. If you have x to the 1/2 power, if you square it, you'd still get the x. So you know that square root of x is x to the 1/2 power. Not only that, so let me write this down again. Square root of x is x to the 1/2 power. Not only that, if you have cube root, that's y to what power? 1/3. And in general, nth root of x would be same as x to the 1 over nth power. Okay? All right. So let's try to use these two facts to simplify that. Before we do that, let's reduce 4 and 6. This is 2 and 3. And you have 2 over 3 times square root of x. We just agree that it's 1/2 power. Cube root of y is y to 1/3 power, that we agreed. And then you have x squared divided by x cubed y, and then we want to also replace the square root by what? What? This square root is replaced by what?
Square.
Square root is replaced by 1/2. Yes. Okay. So that is 2/3 times x to the 1/2 y to the 1/3 x squared. Oh, you know what we should have done? What happens if you have the same base and multiply? If you have x to a, x to the b, a plus b, right? you end up adding the 2. So what you have here is you end up with x to the 1/2 plus 2, y to the 1/3 as the top thing. The bottom, this gets multiplied to each one of them. Right? So you have x times 3 over 2 times y to the 1/2 power. Okay. What is 2 plus 1/2? 2 is 4 over 2. So what is it?
2 and 1/2.
Oh, no, we don't use mixed fraction in pre-calculus. Yeah. 5 over 2, right? Yeah. So this is 2/3 times x to the 5 over 2, y to the 1/3, x to the 3 over 2, y to the 1/2. And now let's see. Same base, right? So you subtract. You subtract. So 2/3 x to the 5 over 2 minus 3 over 2. And that's, yeah, it's 2 over 2, so it's 1. And then 1/3 minus 1/2. What's that? This is 2 over 6 minus 3 over 6, right? So what's that? Yeah?
Is that 1 over 6?
1/3 is 2 over 6. 1 over 2 is 3 over 6, right?
4 over 6.
Okay, let's.
But it's minusing, sorry.
1/3 minus 1/2 is 2 over 6 minus 3 over 6. What's 2 minus 3? Negative 1 over 6. Okay? So using that, we have 2/3 times x to the, we just agree that this is first power, so we don't have to write anything. Then y to the negative 1/6. That's how I do it.